Welcome you all at mahindragroup.com. In today's How to Crack SBI, we're going to discuss compound interest. We know what is compound interest. When we are add interest to the principal to find next year interest, it is called compound interest. So whole concept of compound interest is that the previous year interest is added to the principal and then we calculate the interest on the amount. So the formula which we have to calculate compound interest is quite complicated. So today we are going to discuss the tricks by which you can really find out the compound interest quickly and without a complicated method. Let us see first of all how we used to calculate compound interest earlier. We all know the formula of compound interest is CI equal to, that is compound interest, equal to P, that is principal, the amount we have invested for as a loan or something is given to someone, 1 plus R upon 100 power T, where R is rate of interest, that is the percent which we going to get as a part of principal as an interest. T is time for which we have invested the money, minus principal. Why we put subtract principal from it? The formula gave us amount, we minus principal from the amount, we get the interest. So somehow when we calculate in such a method, the method gets complicated as well as lengthy, because here the power T is in power. If I say 4 years, then the calculation become quite lengthy. So what we can do to calculate the interest fast and easily is, let us see. This is called the slab method. What it is called? The slab method. What is in the name, as the Shakespeare has said. We don't look the name, we will concentrate on the trick. Let us see if we have 10,000 rupees. Fine. If we have 10,000 rupees at 10% rate of interest for, let us see, 2 years. Let us say 2 years. For the starting we take 2 years, then we will follow the tricks further. For 2 years, the first year the simple interest will be and the compound interest will be same. So we will get 10% of 10,000, which will be 1,000. 10% of 10,000 is 1,000, easily calculated. Now what happens in the next year? We will get the interest on the principal as well as on the interest. As I said earlier, the compound interest is when we add previous year interest in the principal. So now the principal becomes 1,000 plus 1,000, 10,000 plus 1,000, 11,000. Now we will get the interest on 11,000. What we can do? Either we can directly write here 1,100, or we can what we can do? We can just copy 1,000. 10,000, 10%, 1,000. Then what we do? We put the interest of 1,000 rupees, because we are going to get a interest on 1,000 rupees also. So what we do? We calculate 10% of 1,000 and put it here, which is 100. So the interest on 10,000, 10% for 2 years is 2,100. 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 100, it is 2,100. Fine. The second, if it is not for the 2 years, we will take it for 3 years. Let us see if it is considered for 3 years. Then what will happen? If we consider this thing for 3 years, then a step will go up further ahead. Now what happens? This 1,000, 1,000 and 100 is added to 10,000. Fine. So we are going to get interest on 12,100, which is 2,100. Or what we can do? 1,000, 10,000, 1,000, 100, 100. Now 100, 10%, 10. So the interest for 3 years will be, compound interest will be 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 3,000, 100, 100, 300 and 10. That is 3,310 rupees. See, this process you can carry on forward as well, so we can calculate further parts also. But this will sometimes also confuse us, because on getting lengthy, what happens, we just forget about the rhythm, or we forget just one number and the calculation get wrong. You can also do one thing here. As we all, if you know the power 11 squares, 11 cube, you can easily do that. See what happens if we say 11 square. Fine. I'm not taking 11 because of 10. You can take 11 at all the cases. Fine. 11 square is 121. See, here 1 stands for the principal. That means if I multiply 1 into 10,000, I got the principal. Now 2 helps to find out the interest we are getting on thousands. So on 10,000 we get interest 100. So see, for 2 years you are getting 2 times 1,000. Then this one stands for the interest which you get on 100, which is 1,000, which you got on 1,000, which is 100. Now you see, you get 100 only one time. So the concept is, we use here the 11 square, because square for 2 years, cube for 3 years, 4 for 4 years. So 11 square for 2 years. Now what we have done, the terms which we have, the digits which we have, help us to find out the total amount. If we don't want the amount, only compound interest, we can take 2 and 1. If we want whole amount, then we can take 1 to 1. Fine. Take another example. If I say 11 cube. As we all know, 11 cube is 1331. So this one stands for principal, 1 into 10,000. This 3 will help us to find the interest which we got on 10,000, which is 1,000. So we will get 1,000 for 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Then the next 3 help us to find the interest which we get on 1,000, which will be 100. See, you will get 1, 2, 3. 3 times 100. And 1, the interest which we got on 100, which is 10. So see, you have only one 10 here. So you can use both these methods. Fine. Let us see this 11th method once again. So the confusion which you have could be removed. Say we have an amount like 1,000. The interest which we take is 20%. Now we will do it for 2, 3, 4 years. So you can calculate and understand it clearly. Let us say 11 square. That means it is used for 2 years. Fine. 2 years, 11 squares. So 11 square will be 1, 2, 1. 1 into 1,000. The principal. Then 2 into 20% of 1,000. Oh, I haven't 20%. Here I have taken the rate of interest 20%. So 1,000 20% will be 200. Then we will calculate 20% of 200, which will be 40. So here we can see the interest which we are having here is 2 into 100, 1 into 40. That is 440. Fine. For 3 years, if we considered it for 3 years, then 11 cube. 11 cube will be 1, 3, 3, 1. Now, what happens? 1 into 1,000. 3 into 20% of 1,000, which is 200. 3 into 20% of 200, which will be 40. Then 20% of 40, which will be 8. So the interest in 3 years on 1,000 rupees at 20% will be 3 into 200, 600, 3 into 20, which will 3 into 40, 120, 600, and 120 will be 720 into plus 8, 1 into 8, 8. So that is 728. Or if we want amount, we will add 1000 to it, then it will become 1728. For 4 years, you can again calculate it. 11 power 4, 1, 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Okay, 11 power 4 is 1464, 1, 1000, 4 into 200, 6 into 40, 4 into 8, 1 into 1.6. Fine. So we can add this to find out the compound interest. Hope you get this easily. If you don't, just rewind the video and see it again. You will get it. It is an easy method to calculate compound interest. See what happens. You can even find out the SICI difference here very easily. If we say 100 rupees, 10%, 2 years. Fine. What happens? 100, 10% is 10. 100, 10% is 10. And 10%, 10% is 1. So here, this 10 and 10 stand for SI. It stands for SI. This 10, this whole amount, 10 plus 10 plus 1, that is 21, it stands for compound interest. This whole value is standing for compound interest. So this one is the difference of CI and SI for 2 years. Remember this, it will help you to find out many questions very easily. What I'm going to tell you, just look at this. So this one is the 10% of 10. So you can easily find out with the help of difference the principal. How? You get 1 as 10%. So 100% will be 10, which will be the interest on principal for first year. Whatever it is, CI or SI, the principal remains same for the first year. So we know that this 10 is only the 10% of principal. So the principal will be 100. 10 is 10% of principal. So 100% will be 100. Fine. So this is the easy way to calculate sometimes the difference, or if you have the difference, to calculate the principal or compound interest. Now let us see ahead. Now here I have written how to calculate cumulative compound interest percent. What is cumulative? Cumulative is when we add the previous interest, or you can say the total interest which we are going on compound interest. Like here in SI, what we do? We multiply R and T to get cumulative interest, which is, I said, for 2 years 10% interest. So we can say directly we get a 20% interest on the principal. What we are having a total interest is 20%. This is for SI. But in CI we can't follow this rule. Why? Because we know that the interest is added to the principal. So, or you can say the amount of previous year is the principal for the next year in CI. So the principal changes. So we cannot directly find out the rate cumulative interest by multiplying R into T. So what we do? We apply net effective formula, percent formula, or effective percent formula, whichever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. What is the formula is? Plus minus x plus minus y plus minus xy upon 100. Fine. We have all learned this formula in percentage. You don't have to put plus minus or something like this, because we know the rate will be the same and it is adding to the principal. So we directly apply here. So 2r plus r square upon 100. This is the net cumulative compound interest formula for 2 years. So you can directly say here, if you want CI percent for 2 years, that is, if I said you have 5% rate of interest for 2 years and you have to find out the compound interest. So what you can do, you can directly apply this formula, 2r plus r square upon 100. So 2 into 5, 10 point, r square is 25, 25 upon 100 gives us 0.25. So we can directly say that we are going to get 10.25% interest for in 2 years if we apply compound interest at 5% rate of interest. So this is the method which we can apply here. This is only applied for 2 years. The formula is only applicable for 2 years. If we came to 3 years, then CI for 3 years will be CI percent 3R plus 3R square upon 100 plus R cube upon 10,000. It is again applied by adding this to R, applying this as a one value and R as other value and putting it that net effective formula. But I'm not calculating the whole method. You can write this formula and understand it. It is 3R plus 3R square plus R cube upon 10,000. And you can easily find out the interest by this. Let's take the example of 5% only. If we have to find net interest which we are going to get as a compound interest in 3 years, then it will be 3 into 5, 15 point. R squared 25. 25 into 3, 75 upon 100. It becomes 75. R cube is 125 upon 10,000, which will be 0.0125. Added to this, then it's become 15.7625. So we can directly say the compound interest in percent which we will get by 5% in 3 years will be 15.7625. This is called the cumulative compound interest percent, which we can easily find out by applying these two formulas. 1, 2. It also helps in many times in such questions where you have been given 2 years compound interest, find out the SI for the same amount, same sum, same time, same rate. So we can directly apply this formula to calculate. We will discuss that in further section. These are some of the interests which you can want. If you want, you can learn it or write it down. I will discuss. If you have 1% for 2 years, the compound interest which you are going to get is 2.01%. What? 1% equal to twice of 1, 2. Square of 1 is 1 upon 100, that is 2.01. 2% it will be 4.04. 3% will be 6.09, 4% will be 8.16, 5% will be 10.25, 6% will be 12.36, 7% will be 14.49, 8% will be 16.64, 9% will be 18.81, 10% will be 21. This is for 3 years. If you have for 3 years, then the 1% will be 3.0301, 6% will be 19.1016, 10% will be 33.31. These are the percent. If you want, you can learn it. You can so you can directly apply this to sum, and your calculation will be easy. Then you don't have to remember the previous formulas for all the condition or apply. You have to remember because it will help. Because here we have only till 10. If it the percent is 12 or 15 or 20, then you have to learn and apply that formula. Otherwise, till 10 if we can easily learn it and solve by using these values. Now, when it comes difference between compound interest and simple interest, many some you have seen in the paper where we are asked the difference or given the difference between SI and CI, we are asked the principal, rate, time, and further things. So what we can do here, the CI and SI difference for 2 years will be 2 years. CI and SI difference. Remember, whenever we have for more than 1 year, then Ci is always greater than Si. In none case it can be happen that Ci is less than Si in any cases, because what happens in Ci, we get the interest on interest. So, like take an example, for the first year Ci and Si is same. In the next year Ci get the interest equal to Si as well as the interest on Si also, so the interest will increase. So Ci is always greater than Si. That's why I have written here Ci minus Si equal to P R upon 100 square. Fine. This is for 2 years. If I say 3 years, then Ci minus Si equal to P R upon 100 square, 300 plus R upon 100. It is the same conditions which we are followed for 2 years and 3 years. Sometimes you feel what happens if it is more than 3 years. So you can check it out. We don't get the problems more than 2 or 3 years. If you get, then you can do calculate it by the base easily. Fine. Now here is the condition when sum is getting n times in t years. What happens, a problem you can see in the paper is where if we have said the amount becomes 3 times of principal, let us say in 5 years, then in how many years amount will become, or if amount becomes 27 times of the principal, then what is the time? The concept here is, as we know, the formula, basic formula of amount is A equal to P1 plus R upon 100 power T. So what happens, we can directly say here that amount is directly proportional to T, because we don't have other values here. So what we can do, we will compare 3 power 1. 3 power 1 P1 plus R upon 100 T. So the time T is depending upon the power, since we don't have other values to compare. Remember this, so this trick will only apply when the next amount, the number of times the next amount is given, is of the same base of earlier. So here 27 is of the same base. We can write 27 as 3 cube. It is in the same base. So what we can say, when the power is 1, the time is 5. Now the power is 3, the time will be 3 into 5, 15. Fine, this is the trick, you can remember it. What? When the power is 1, then time is 5, then the power will be, when the power will be 3, the time will be 3 into 5, 15. If they say 9 times of the principal, then 9 means 3 square, then the time will be 2 into 5, 10. You can understand it easily by this. If in 5 years the amount becomes, I invested 1 rupee. In 5 years I get 3 rupees. So now my investment is 3 rupees. In 10 years what will happen? This 3 rupees become 3 times of it. So 3 into 3, 9. In the same manner, in the next 5 years, 9 become 3 times of itself. 9 into 3 is 27. So in 15 years what we get? 27 times of the principal. This is the easiest trick to follow it. If you forget about it, the concept behind this trick is, let us see if the principal amount is 3 times of principal. The formula will be 3p p 1 plus R upon 100 power of 5. We have the time here, so the time will be 5. Fine. So what happened? P cancel. 3 equal to 1 plus R upon 100 power 5. Now what we have to do? We have to find 27 times of principal. 1 plus R upon 100 power T. Now here it is principal cancel. 27 could be write as 3 power 3, 1 plus R upon 100 power T. So 3 power 3, we can write 3 value of 3 is 1 plus r upon 100, 3 into 5 equal to 1 plus r upon 100 power t. Now we know here that when the bases are same, the power is same. So t equal to 15. That's why I have said that if we have given n times, the next n times should be of the same base. If it is 3, then it should be the power in the power of 3. If it is 2, then the terms of next n times could be 4, 8, 16, 32. It can't be the multiple. Remember, it is not the multiple. It should have the same base. Multiple means if I said for 3 years, then it could be 6 years also. 3, then it could be 6 times also, because 6 is a multiple of 3. But we don't want multiple. We want the same base for the same power, so that we can compare the base easily. Fine? Okay. Now come to the problems which we see in papers. The first sum here is, a sum gave us rupees 400 and rupees 420 as simple interest and compound interest in 2 years. Find the rate of interest and the sum. Now what we have given 2 year and 2 years interest, compound interest and simple interest. So the basic concept which we get here is, in 2 years, if the sum interest is, simple interest is 400, we are going to get 200 each year. 200 in first year and 200 in second year. This is the simple interest which we get in 2 years. So sum will be 400. Fine. Now what we can do, we know in the compound interest, 400 is the simple interest and the difference is the interest which we get here. So the difference is 20. So 20 will be the interest which we are getting on 200. So we can directly say 20 is 10%. So we easily can calculate the rate of interest, which is 10%. Now what we have to do, we will have to find the sum also which we invested. So 200 is 10% of principal. 200 is 10% of principal. So principal will be 100%. 0, 0 cancel out. Principal became 2000 rupees. Fine. So this is the basic concept of sum. If we calculate it by using formula, then it becomes complex as well as quite calculative and lengthy. In paper we want tricks, so this is the basic trick which we can apply. What the concept is, let us see it again. What we do, if we have 2000 rupees, fine. So 10% 2 years. The interest will be 200, 200 and 20. This 200 and 200 are the SI, which are equal in 2 years, and this 20 is the interest of this 200. So we reverse this condition. Now we have 400 rupees SSI, so we break it for 2 years, 200 and 200. Then we have 20 rupees, the difference between SI and CI. Now we know that the difference comes because we get 10% of this 200. This 200 gives 10% as interest, which is the difference between SI and CI, which is 20. So this 20 is 10, what percent of 200? 10%. That is, the rate of interest is 10%. Second condition comes, we have to find out the principal. Now what is the principal will be? This 200 is 10% of the principal because the rate of interest is 10%. So if the rate of interest is 10%, which gives us 200, the 200 is 10%, what will be the principal? It will be the 100%. That is 2000 rupees, and we can easily calculate our sum. Let us see the next question. The next question says, a sum gave rupees 416 as compound interest in 2 years at 8% rate of interest. Find the simple interest at the same rate in same time at same sum. See what happens here. We either we have to calculate the principal first, then we have to calculate the interest on it. We don't have to, because we can apply the cumulative formula here. What will happen in 2 years at 8%? Easy way to calculate what compound interest percent we are getting in 2 years. It will be twice of 8%, which is 16%, and 8 square is 64, divided by 100, 0.64. So the compound percent which we are getting here is 16.64%. Fine. So 416 is 16.64%. Now we want SI. The cumulative SI percent will be R into T, that is 8 into 2, 16%. Fine. So what we can do, we multiply by 8 by 16% over. The sum will be over from here, point is removed, double hundred, 0. We can divide this equation by 8. When we divide this equation by 8, we get 208. 200. When we divide twice, and the interest which we get on this is 400 rupees. So the 2 years simple interest at 8% will be 400. We don't have to calculate the principal. We don't have to follow the whole procedure by applying formula. So this is the trick which you can apply when such sum came in front of you. That's why for this I have told you the formula, which is R 2R plus R square upon 100. So in such condition the formula could directly help you. I have given you the table with the values from 1 to 10 for 2 years and 3 years. You can learn them and apply them in the questions very easily. Now this is the most common sum which you can see in your paper, where you have given the difference between CI and SI for 2 years or 3 years. The sum here is, if the difference between CI and SI on a certain sum of money in 2 years at 12% rate of interest is 72, find the principal. The formula which we apply here is CI minus SI equal to P R upon 100 squared. So we have the SI and CI difference, which is 72. We have to find the principal. Rate is 12%, which gave us 144 upon 10,000. Now what happens? 72 goes by 144 divides by 72 give us 2. 2 divide 10,000, 5,000. So the principal is 5,000. And this is your answer. So what we have done, we just apply the basic formula here and calculate it. If you want, that could be get lengthy, since we have the SICI difference is 72. We can say 72 is 12%. Then what will be the 100%? This will be 12%. Then what will be the 100%? It will get quite lengthy. But you can do by this way also. 12, 6, 6, 2, 250. The answer will be 5,000. What I have done, I know 72 is the difference. So the 1 year simple interest will be, this 72 is 12% of that 1 year simple interest. So 72 divided by 12 give us 1% of the interest of SI of 1 year. Multiplying by 100, we will get the 1 year interest. Divide by 12 because it is 12% of the principal. Into 100 to get the principal. Answer will be 5,000. If you forget the formula, you can apply this concept here also. That's all for today. Hope you enjoy the videos. For more videos, you can subscribe our YouTube channel, as well as you can go on to our Mahindra Group app, which is one Play Store Play app for you, where you can learn all about your competitions. Thank you for today.